Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're not just discussing a book, we're exploring a really profound shift in perspective,
Mhm.
one that has the power to change how we understand ourselves, our pasts, and, well, everyone around us.
That's right.
We're diving into the essential question, not what's wrong with you, but what happened to you?
That's such a key difference.
Yeah, and this deep dive is inspired by the incredible work of Oprah Winfrey and Dr. Bruce Perry in their, frankly, groundbreaking book, What Happened to You?
The truly important book.
Our mission today is to uncover how our past experiences, especially those from our earliest years, literally sculpt our brains, how they shape our behavior, and maybe hold the key to our healing.
Yeah.
So get ready for some powerful aha moments. I think these might just reframe your entire understanding of human nature.
Okay, let's unpack this.
It's an absolute privilege to explore this material with you because the shift in that single question, it seems simple, right? What happened to you?
Mm.
But it can unlock so much.
Right. It moves away from blame. Exactly. The traditional approach, what's wrong with you,
Hmm.
it so often leads to judgment, blame, misunderstanding. But by focusing on what happened,
Right.
we instantly open a pathway to empathy, compassion, and, genuine insight into why we feel, think, and act the way we do.
Makes sense.
We're going to connect the dots today.
Hmm.
Between those early life experiences, the actual architecture of our brain development, and those deeply ingrained patterns that often define us, and hopefully reveal how a deeper understanding can lead to really profound transformation.
Okay. And to really underscore the power of this new lens, let's start with a story Oprah herself shares. It's poignant and deeply personal from her own childhood. She recounts how, as a young girl, she was whooped regularly. Now, she mentions this was an accepted practice then, but even at 3 years old, she says she knew that what I was experiencing was wrong.
Even at 3, that's powerful.
Isn't it? She describes this particularly vivid, just searing memory, being whipped violently for what? For innocently twirling her fingers in water at a well. And the blood seeped through, staining her white Sunday dress. And then, the ultimate demand. She was forced to hush her mouth and smile. Just bury it deep inside.
And what's truly fascinating there, and maybe, a bit unsettling, is how that pattern, what they call conditioned compliance,
Condition compliance.
that deep-seated need to please or conform, often born from that kind of early inescapable threat, it isn't just about childhood obedience.
Right, it carries forward.
It absolutely does. It
Right.
subtly, almost invisibly, sculpts our adult relationships, our career choices, even our most fundamental sense of self-worth for decades.
Decades, really.
Oh, yes. It's like an invisible script playing out in the background of our lives. It often drives us to sacrifice our own needs for the comfort or approval of others long after the original threat is gone.
I can see that.
And this isn't just about Oprah. It's a pattern many of us might recognize in ourselves. Maybe in seemingly minor anxieties about upsetting someone, or that feeling that, our own needs always seem to come last.
That really hits home. So it makes you wonder then, how exactly does this mechanism work inside our heads? How do these early experiences get so deeply wired that they impact us decades later?
Yeah.
Dr. Perry explains it with a really helpful visual, the upside-down triangle model of the brain. Can you elaborate on that and why our earliest years are just so crucial?
Absolutely. So our brain processes all experience from the bottom up. Imagine your brain like a 3-story house.
Okay.
The ground floor is our primitive brainstem. It's the oldest part, handling essential, life-sustaining functions, breathing, heart rate, our innate fight-flight-freeze response.
The basics.
The absolute basics.
Yeah.
It's incredibly fast, designed for immediate survival. But it has a significant limitation. It literally cannot tell time.
It can't tell time. What does that mean?
It doesn't differentiate between a threat that happened years ago and a threat happening right now. It just reacts.
Wow.
Moving up, the second floor is our limbic system, our emotional center. That's where feelings like fear, joy, attachment live. And then finally, the top floor, the cortex, is our thinking, reasoning, language hub. Logic, planning, conscious memory, that's all up there.
Right, the smart part.
Kind of, yeah. But because information flows from bottom to top, we often act and feel before we think. And that's crucial. It explains why our reactions can sometimes feel so automatic, so overwhelming, completely bypassing our rational mind.
And the book gives such a powerful example of this bottom-up processing. Mike Roseman, the veteran whose brain adapted to constant threat in Korea. Could you
Yeah.
share that? It really highlights this can't tell time aspect.
Indeed. Mike Roseman, a Marine, spent years in Korea under constant threat. His lower brain systems were always on high alert, just fine-tuned for survival.
Right.
Decades later, he's back home, quiet suburban street. A motorcycle backfires, and instantly, he's diving for cover.
Just like that.
Just like that. His brainstem, unable to tell the difference between then and now, activated his stress response as if he were back in combat, completely shut down his cortex.
So no thinking involved at that point.
None. No conscious thought, no logical assessment like, oh, that's just a motorcycle. It's like his thinking brain was trying to say, hey, hang on, Korea was 30 years ago. But the primal reaction was already in full swing, way before that message could even register.
Wow.
It just shows that this adaptive and protective memory from the past can persist. It sticks around even when it's no longer useful or even, detrimental.
And if that can happen to a 24-year-old Marine, someone with a fully developed brain, imagine the effects on an infant or a toddler.
Precisely. The younger you are, the more rapidly the brain is developing. So those earliest experiences are disproportionately powerful in shaping its organization's very structure.
So things get locked in much earlier.
Exactly. Trauma experienced before a child even has language to process it can lock into these lower brain regions. It gets stored as like a set of physical sensations or automatic reactions.
And not necessarily a story they can tell.
Often not. It manifests later, perhaps as random panic attacks, overwhelming anxiety, or these really intense, inexplicable reactions. Without a clear narrative memory of the event itself, the body remembers, even if the conscious mind doesn't.
It's so clear then, these thousands of loving, responsive interactions, as the book calls them, they literally build our foundational worldview, our sense of safety.
They absolutely do.
But what happens then if that essential architecture of love is missing? If early care is inconsistent, unpredictable, if those 1,000 moments just aren't there, what kind of different worldview takes root?
Well, that creates a profoundly different sort of worldview, a different set of expectations. Let's look at the case of Samuel. He was 14 in a residential center. His father had been abusive and used Old Spice aftershave. Years later, Samuel has a kind male teacher who also happens to use Old Spice.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah. That scent became an evocative cue, basically, a powerful sensory trigger. Instantly, subconsciously, that familiar smell linked back to the early, terrifying threat associated with his father.
Even though the teacher was kind.
Even though the teacher was kind and safe, Samuel started having violent outbursts towards him, even though he had no conscious memory of why that specific scent was upsetting him.
So it bypassed his thinking brain again.
Completely. It shows powerfully how sensory inputs, smell, touch, sound, if they get linked to trauma, can activate these deeply ingrained stress responses. Even without any conscious recollection of the original traumatic event, it's the brain's old pattern, trying to protect him based on past danger.
And it's not just the absence of the negative, is it? This deep dive really reveals that love, in its simplest, most consistent forms, is truly foundational.
Absolutely critical.
Oprah herself shares these incredibly touching, almost heartbreaking anecdotes. She talks about her friend Jonathan gently teaching her how to tuck in her daughter, something she realized she'd never experienced as a child herself.
Those little moments.
Exactly. And another memory, watching a friend tenderly slice strawberries into a delicate rose shape for her daughter, and Oprah thinking, that must be what a mother's love is. These are small things, but incredibly profound, aren't they?
They are, and they highlight a critical truth. These thousands of loving, responsive interactions literally build the foundation of the organizing brain. To a newborn, love is action.
Love is action. I like that.
It's the attentive, responsive care adults provide. The skin-to-skin warmth, the smell of the parent, the comforting sounds, the eye contact. These moments create the infant's worldview, their internal catalog of experience.
So what they learn to expect.
Precisely. A consistent, nurturing caregiver helps the child internalize that people are safe and supportive. Remember that story of the toddler at the airport?
Oh yeah, tell that one.
Okay, so the airport's chaotic, flight's delayed, everyone's getting irritated, and this little toddler, despite all the tension, just toddles over to this grumpy-looking man. She has sticky hands, offers him a big smile.
Oh no, sticky hands.
Yeah, but the point is, her working model of the world was that people are good. She expected connection, and guess what? She actually turned his frown into a smile.
That's amazing.
It is. Her brain had built this relational blueprint that expected connection, not threat. That's the power of those early interactions.
It's fascinating how our bodies are always seeking this state of balance, this regulation. Oprah shares her own powerful connection to her unique biosystem, as she calls it.
Hmm.
When she experienced sudden heart palpitations in her late 40s, she had this fear of dying only to discover it was part of menopause. Her body was speaking to her.
Exactly. Regulation is about being in balance. Stress is what takes us out of that balance. When a baby cries, they're trying to regulate. They're out of balance.
Yeah.
And a responsive caregiver provides external regulation, a soothing voice, a gentle rock, a comforting touch. That helps the baby's system return to balance.
And rhythm is key there, isn't it?
Oh, hugely. Rhythm, like a mother's heartbeat in the womb or rocking a distressed baby, is a powerful regulating tool. It evokes this deep, primal memory of safety and predictability.
Makes sense.
However, if someone grows up remaining in a constant state of high alert because of chronic, unpredictable stress, well, that has devastating effects. It sensitizes our stress response systems. It creates what Dr. Perry calls an internal storm.
An internal storm. That sounds exhausting.
It is. And it's not just uncomfortable. It fundamentally alters the brain's baseline activity.
And this internal storm, this dysregulation, can often lead people towards maladaptive coping mechanisms, right?
Yes, absolutely.
It's a stark way to put it, isn't it? Russell Brand famously said, "Drugs and alcohol are not my problem. Reality is my problem. Drugs and alcohol are my solution." And for so many, that probably rings true. But from this trauma-informed perspective we're discussing, is it really the solution or is it more of a symptom?
That's such a crucial distinction. From the individual's perspective, in the moment, it feels like a solution. It's a quick, maybe, but ultimately destructive way to quiet that internal storm you mentioned.
A temporary fix.
Exactly. When the stress response systems are constantly sensitized, running on high alert, the brain is just desperately seeking any form of regulation, any way to get a momentary sense of peace or control.
So it reaches for anything.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Individuals might seek unhealthy methods, drug or alcohol use,
Yeah.
compulsive eating, cutting, gambling. Even less obvious behaviors like incessant people-pleasing, which Oprah describes experiencing herself.
People-pleasing as a coping mechanism.
Absolutely. These behaviors provide a quick burst of pleasure, or at least relief from distress. And that relief becomes a powerful but ultimately destructive reward cycle.
Right. The brain learns this makes the bad feelings stop for a bit.
Precisely. And people-pleasing. That's a classic compliant behavior. It's often part of the dissociative response to inescapable threat, where you kind of psychologically flee to your inner world to avoid conflict or disapproval, often at the cost of your own authentic self, your own needs.
It seems like this relational hunger is almost an epidemic in our modern world. We're constantly connected through our devices, yet sometimes it feels like we're more disconnected than ever on a meaningful level.
I think that's very true.
How does this constant bombardment of screen-based technology and just other aspects of modern life impact this relational poverty you mentioned? Is it making it worse or just changing the kind of connection we're missing?
That's a vital question. Because the single most powerful form of reward and regulation for humans is genuine relational connectedness. Face-to-face, heart-to-heart connection.
The real stuff.
The real stuff. Yet modern life often provides fewer opportunities for rich, reciprocal relational interactions. Think about it historically. Humans evolved in these multi-generational clans, extended families, small villages.
Right, lots of people around.
Lots of people. Children might have had, say, 4 developmentally more mature individuals, aunts, uncles, grandparents, older siblings, for each child under 6. That's a rich, diverse network of calm, predictable co-regulators.
Wow, 4 to 1.
At least. Now, we often find ourselves in what Dr. Perry calls an impoverished reality. Maybe 1 overwhelmed parent or 2 struggling to meet all the needs. We mistakenly consider a 1-to-4 caregiver-to-child ratio enriched in a daycare setting.
Yeah, that's considered good.
Right. But it's just 116th of what our brains might have evolved to expect. This relational poverty, this lack of deep, consistent, diverse connection, it fuels anxiety, depression, substance use, and even a significant decline in empathy. Our brains just aren't getting the relational nutrients they need to thrive.
And the technology piece, how does that specifically hinder our capacity for real connection?
Well, it's a double whammy, really. We are simultaneously relationally impoverished and sensory overloading from screen-based technologies. These devices offer a very shallow, high-frequency, fragmented form of interaction. It just doesn't provide the depth of co-regulation our nervous systems crave. That feeling of truly being seen and understood by another person.
It's not the same as being in the room.
Not at all. We need what the authors call techno-hygiene, social practice rules for technology use. Things like no phone zones at dinner, age limits for screen time, especially for infants.
Why, especially infants?
Because that endless visual stimulation from screens can actually bias the developing brain. It can potentially hinder language development, attention skills, the ability to read social cues. And furthermore, we are increasingly touch-starved. Many schools now implement no-touch policies. While they might be well-intentioned, aimed at preventing inappropriate contact, they can be profoundly unhealthy for children whose development absolutely depends on the loving warmth, the regulation that comes from appropriate human contact.
Like a hug from a teacher when they're upset.
Exactly. Or just a reassuring hand on the shoulder. Disconnection, in so many ways, is truly a disease. It erodes our capacity for empathy and well-being.
It's sobering to consider the cumulative impact of all this, all these experiences. But, despite all these challenges, despite the profound impact of past experiences, there is immense hope in the book.
Yes, absolutely.
Oprah firmly believes that everything that has happened to you was also happening for you, that it builds strength and power. It's about finding purpose in the pain, isn't it?
That's a beautiful way to frame it. And it aligns with the neuroscience. The brain is remarkably malleable and plastic.
Plastic meaning changeable.
Exactly. It's always capable of change, of reorganizing itself based on new experiences. Even well into adulthood, the book states, given love, the unloved can become loving. That's the core message of hope here.
That's powerful.
And Dr. Perry's neurosequential model of therapeutics, the NMT, it emphasizes starting with bottom-up regulation, addressing those primitive brain systems first before moving to relational and cognitive therapies. You have to build a stable foundation.
So, if we understand this framework, regulate, relate, then reason, what might that look like practically for someone struggling today? Are we talking about specific daily practices or more about foundational shifts in their environment? How does someone engage with this bottom-up healing?
It's often both, actually. For someone who is frequently dysregulated, feeling overwhelmed or anxious, it often starts with engaging those lower brain systems first, finding ways to calm the nervous system.
Like what?
It could mean rhythmic activities, things like walking, drumming, rocking in a chair, swimming, even just humming. These evoke that primal memory of safety and predictability we talked about, helping to calm the brainstem.
So physical things first.
Often, yes. Somatosensory things. Remember the example of Susan. Adopted at age 2, profound developmental challenges. She needed experiences like weighted blankets, deep pressure, therapeutic massage before she could benefit from traditional talk therapy, which engages the higher brain, the cortex.
You can't reason with a brain that's in survival mode.
Exactly. You have to help it feel safe and calm first. That's the regulate part. Then, once the degree of regulation is achieved, you can move to relate, building those safe, consistent, nurturing relationships, feeling seen, heard, understood.
Okay.
Only then can reason, the cognitive processing, understanding the past, talk therapy, truly take root and be effective. You need that foundation of safety and connection.
That makes so much sense. You have to lay the groundwork first. And the importance of community, of relationships, is just paramount for this healing, isn't it?
Absolutely crucial.
The book tells the really inspiring story of Allie, a girl who witnessed her parents' murder-suicide, an unimaginable trauma.
Truly horrific.
Yet her story is a testament to this power of community.
It really is. Allie's tragedy was immense, yet she was able to heal and actually thrive. Why? Because of the quality of loving relationships in her large, close-knit community.
She wasn't alone.
Far from it. She had supportive aunts, uncles, cousins, a church family, teachers who were trauma-sensitive and understood what she needed. She wasn't left to process that immense trauma in isolation.
That made all the difference.
It created this rich, therapeutic web around her. And through that support, she was able to develop what the book calls post-traumatic wisdom, a profound insight and strength gained from navigating and overcoming adversity.
Post-traumatic wisdom. I like that much better than just resilience.
Me too.
Yeah.
And it highlights a crucial insight. Resilience isn't some fixed, permanent, innate trait you either have or you don't. It's a capability that can wax and wane.
Okay, so it needs support.
Exactly. It's built and sustained through consistent, safe, stable, and nurturing relationships. Healing doesn't just happen in a therapist's office once a week. It happens in those thousands of therapeutic moments within that community web family, friends, mentors, colleagues.
Mhm.
These relationships allow for moderate, controllable revisiting and reworking of trauma in a safe context.
So connection is really the key ingredient.
It truly is. It's never too late to begin building that web, and it often
Yeah.
begins with just reaching out, finding one safe connection.
So this deep dive, it really reminds us of this profound truth. Our personal history isn't an excuse for our behavior, but it is a powerful explanation for who we are today.
Well said. Yes.
And by shifting our lens, our fundamental question from what's wrong with you to what happened to you, we unlock so much. Empathy, understanding, and this incredible potential for healing and transformation.
Mm.
Not just for ourselves as individuals, but for our families, our communities, our larger social systems even.
Couldn't agree more. Awareness, just understanding this framework, coupled with genuine connectedness that forms the bedrock of a truly trauma-informed community, where we look beyond behavior to see the person and their story.
Yeah.
We're all interdependent. And the capacity to truly see and acknowledge another human being and all their complexity and history, that's the ultimate relational superglue, as Dr. Perry calls it. It's the foundation for all healing and growth.
The relational superglue. Love that. As we close out this deep dive, maybe consider this. In a world that so often isolates and judges, how might your own curiosity and compassion applied first, maybe to yourself and then to others, how might that become the most powerful catalyst? A catalyst for a collective healing that turns past pain into that post-traumatic wisdom for generations to come. What small shift in your own question asking, maybe the next time you feel frustrated or confused by someone's behavior, could transform a moment of judgment into one of potential connection? Something to think about. Thank you for joining us on this essential deep dive.